If you do need to put a little bit of tension on, just because of the big girls' heads, just literally a little bit, not too much. As you can see, it's really quite straight just by using my comb. And I've only got a little bit of shape in this, I'm not doing it too concave. This side's a little not as steep as that, so I'm just going to change that a little bit. And then bring it up there. And then how do I check for balance? Get each side and pull it, and see if it's even. Okay, use your mirror, or you can stand away and look away and you can feel where they finish at the same point. Okay, which they do. So I've got my nice guideline in there now. And I've got a little, my kind of graduation is just following the shape of the neck, really, and then coming down a little bit longer towards the sides. So is everyone alright with that bit? So I'm going to work my way up now, and this will be my point where I will do the one length, and then the section after this is where I start graduation. Okay. Has anybody ever cut a graduated bob like this? Okay. Concave graduated one? Yeah. Anyone else? No, is this the first time everybody will have done this? So this will be nice for you to do today.
I've done the concave one, but not the graduation on it.
So you've done the one length, but the graduation side.
Sometimes though, when I've been taught because I just put my fingers not on the net. You know, when you
Yes.
put the first bit, I don't know, sometimes it makes it harder.
You put your fingers like this.
Yeah, it's like on the net.
Yeah. Oh, so do you need to hold it like this or like that?
Like that.
Like that.
When you do the first step, like your first guide.
Yeah, and that can help you. If you put a bit of that puts a bit more tension on than this, which is fine if that's how you're doing it. And sometimes you can just see the shape easier, can't you? For it's a bit easier when you're
I
looking.
think it's better on the actual person in the neck than when you do that.
Yeah,
Because
rather
on the
than
doll
done.
one, it just,
It doesn't. They just don't
Doesn't
lie
sit.
straight anyway.
Yeah.
Does it? So I'm going to just go in again with my comb. I am just going to go and hold it, and then I'm just going to cut it to there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. Just check that. So I've got that nice shape, no tension. And it's just one way ever so slightly. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. So if you just comb the hair back slightly, and then follow the guide. Now I am cutting, you know, we talked about last week that you could cut a little bit longer each time, so you're allowing for that jump. This time you don't need to do that because you want to create graduation, so you can cut right onto the line, okay? Right onto the guideline. Just check if it's all okay. Any little bits that need to come off. Look at the position of my body. I'm still in the centre. My legs aren't really moving round, but I am just taking my body to this side slightly, and that's fine because that's what you want. You want it to fall away the hair. Okay, so I've got a lovely shape in there now, nice and even. So this is where the next section I start to put the graduation in. You just, now instead of quite on a triangle, you're just softening the triangle off. You're just coming a little bit more straight with your sectioning. You're going up to this top bit here. Okay, and around here. So where do you think I'm going to start now? Anybody got any idea where the position where I start the first section? In the centre? Well, am I going to do horizontal or am I going to do vertical? Section. Vertical on this angle?
Yeah.
So I think I have a little diagram of that. So we start and we do it like the orange segments. So if you have a look in this, you're going to go to the middle, and this is going to be section 1 there, can you see? So that'll be section 1. And that's where we create our guideline for the graduation. And then when we've cut that guideline, we bring that section in and then that section into it. And you are combing, this is a stable guideline. So you are now combing your new sections onto the centre guideline. Now you can either do 1, 2, 3, 4 and do one side, and then you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 the other side. Or if you're a little bit concerned that one side might be a bit longer than the other, because remember I always got to think which is a weaker side, then sometimes it's good to do each side one by one, just to make sure it's even each time you do it. So that is the kind of sectioning you're going to start in the middle and then you're going to work out into your orange segments. Okay, so now I'm going to start off in the middle here. Like so. And then this is going to come out. And then I'm going to decide this, what angle you use will determine the degree of elevation you're using, and this is where you decide where you want your weight line to finish. So if I'm going to use that kind of elevation, my weight line is going to be very subtle, it's just going to be along the bottom. So I do want a little bit more than that, so you can see a little bit of the shape. So I am going to comb it out from the head, straight out, and I'm going to do it a little bit more steeper angle. Okay, so that's about 45 degrees. I'm going to put that as my first cut. I'm just going to bring it out again and do it a little bit more precise. Okay, so when I comb that down now, I don't know if you can all see, and I turn it to the side, it's automatically making it take in, and my weight line's here.
Would you always like club cut it as well on the section?
Not always. If the hair was a bit malleable, if it had a bit of movement in, yes. If it was very straight and point cut it, because this shows every line, we ended up point cutting that lady a lot last week, so it was so fine, wasn't it? And curly hair, I tend to, actually curly hair's quite nice razored. I'm using a razor to do this because it diffuses, it softens the edge, because curly hair will look very clumpy. But I don't particularly like razoring curly hair neither, because it gives it lots of split ends, curly hair, but it does give it a soft finish.
Okay.
But you could do a lot more point cutting. But when you're doing this in a point cut, you can't do a very deep point cut because you need a guide to follow. Yeah, so just to soften it really. Okay, so there's my guide. Everyone all right with that? How I've elevated that? So now I'm going to bring that to this angle, and you work like so that you're ending up with your comb kind of mirroring the section that you've taken. So you're working on a horizontal, but each time you're just moving it round slightly. So you'll see what I mean when I do it. Now a little trick.
Just stay on one side and finish one side first.
I do, but like I said, if you wish to do one side and then this side, and then each one section from each side, that might be easier while you're learning to make sure it's even. Because sometimes one side might end up more angled than the other side. Depends on how you manage it. You've got a weak side now. Now, one thing you've not got to do is go past that centre point there. If you go past that centre point, as in you direct over it, you'll end up putting a new guideline in this side and it won't work. It'll come up like that rather than down. So what I do is I section it down the middle, that very first section I've done, and I know I cannot go past that line when I over direct back. That's my section. So I'm not going to comb it over it, I'm only going to comb it to it. And that will help you, because that's one of the mistakes people make. So I'm just going to take my angle. So I've gone from there to there now. Everyone's all right with that angle, are you? And then I'm going to lift my stable guide up along with my new guide. And I'm going to comb my, can you see my guideline under there? If I comb it again, you might be able to see it better. There. And I'm going to cut onto my guide. And then bring it down. We'll just recheck that, lift it up.
So are you moving into section 1? Back into section 1?
Yes, I'm putting it back into section 1. Everything's going back into section 1. Okay, so I've got that now. And then I'm going to get my next section. So you can see how I've angled that section now. I've gone there, and now I'm working up to, like an umbrella, coming round. So that it'll come on that angle there. So I'm not keeping it all horizontal, I'm moving that angle as I'm coming round. So when we come to this point here, I'm going to over direct back to that centre, number 1 section. I'm going to comb it up and then down. You can see that guideline there, can't you, everyone? Yeah, quite a strong guideline. Comb it onto there. So my fingers are turning from vertical to horizontal. So if we follow that, so I'm going from vertical to horizontal. And then my last section here, I'm going to comb back and down. So back and down onto my guideline. And I'm going to cut that all the way.
Is it because we're gonna keep the length at the front? We don't want to have a graduation at the front.
We're going to keep the length.
Here.
Yes, right, on the sides. So from there down, keeping length, but we'll direct it. But at the back, we still want some graduation into the anglia. So you come up here now and have a look. Just come and have a look. If you come, everybody will see this. Come on. Can't show you from where you are. You have to come here. And the doll's head isn't that easy to follow. But can you